Hello everyone, good day. My name is John Rolokino, and today I will be sharing some of my insights of one of the chosen topics that I have given for this science project. And I hope this video finds you well, and I hope you understand something. Thanks a lot. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing great. And today for our final activity, I have chosen the topic understanding the elements of life. And I hope you would learn something for today. And for today, we will be learning about these five lesson outlines, which we would talk about matter, bonds, charges, compounds, cells, and why do we have to learn all this, and why do we have to study all these things, and how it is relevant for everyday life. So, first things first, I want you to look at the environment that you are in right now. If you want to look around, you can see a lot of things, and you can tell to yourself or explain them as to what are you seeing. Are there all, or I mean, is it everything? Are there elements, or are there things that cannot be seen through your naked eye? And today we will be talking about those interesting and amazing topics. All right, so first things first is matter. So matter is defined as everything that has mass and can occupy space. And as we all know, the phases of matter is composed of three. But actually, the phases of matter that make up the arrangement of the structures and characteristics of atoms are solid, liquid, gas, plasma, and Bosch-Einstein condensate. So there are actually five. Water can exist as ice, which is, we believe it's solid. And liquid water, it could also be, or it could also be a water vapor, for example. So basically, under normal conditions, matter is not generated nor destroyed, but rather recycled over and over again. And elements are substances that are incapable of being broken down into simpler forms by typical chemical processes. Each of the 122 known elements, which we know are, 92 natural and 30 synthesized under unusual circumstances, has its own chemical properties. More than 96% of the mass of the most living beings is made up of just four elements, which is actually oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. So that's all for matter. And let's proceed with bonds. All right. So molecules are actually held together by chemical bonds, and atoms, which frequently combined to create compounds or things made up of several types of atoms. A molecule is a pair of group of atoms that can exist as a single unit. Other elements such as molecular oxygen or molecular nitrogen are typically found as molecules, and some compounds such as glucose, which can also exist as molecules. An ionic bond, as we all know, is the electrical attraction that holds two ions with opposing charges together when they create a compound. And when atoms share electron, they actually create bonds. So that's where a bond occurs. And two hydrogen atoms, for example, can bind by sharing a pair of electrons which evenly circle the two hydrogen nuclei and hold the atoms together. On the other hand, covalent bonds are electron sharing bonds that share electrons. Isn't it interesting? All right. So next one, we will talk about charges. And so basically the electrical charge or charges is a crucial chemical property. We can actually see this every day and we use it every day of our life. But can we actually see it like on our naked eye? Of course not, if we are not experiencing any issues with like any electrical issues. So actually atoms receive or lose electrons regularly and resulting in a negative or positive electrical charge. So ions are charged atoms or combination of atoms. Anions are negatively charged ions with one or more additional electrons. And cations, on the other hand, are positively charged ions. So for example, A hydrogen atom can become a hydrogen ion by giving up its single electron, and chlorine takes up electrons quickly and forms chlorine ions. And acids are substances that freely give off hydrogen ions in water. All right. So next one we'll talk about compound. So there are four major categories of organic compounds in living things, which technically are known as bioorganic compounds, which are lipids, carbohydrates, proteins, and nucleic acid. So organic compounds have a carbon backbone, and organisms use some elements in abundance, other in trace amounts, and others not at all. Certain vital substances are concentrated within cells, while others are actively excluded. Carbon is a particularly important element because it chains and rings off carbon atoms from the skeletons of organic compounds, the material of which biomolecules and therefore living organisms are made. So, is pretty much very relevant and very efficient in our daily living. It actually helps us in a lot of things, whether maybe in our food, which we can see it in sugar, or while we are taking a bath in soaps. All right. So next one, cells. So we should and we have to remember that cells are the fundamental units of life. This is one of the most important thing that we should understand about cells. So cells basically are, this is one of the most important thing that we have to learn. And do you know that cells are the basic building blocks of living things? And the human body is composed of trillions of cells, and they provide structure for the body, take in nutrients from food, convert those nutrients into energy, and carry out specialized functions. So, furthermore, scientists actually consider them the smallest form of life. So, cells itself is already a form of life. Cells house the biological machinery that makes the proteins, chemicals, and signals responsible for everything that happens inside our bodies, and not just us, also the surroundings or living things or any living organisms around us. All right. So, with this, we have one underlying question that I myself am also asking. So, why do we have to study all this? I would like to give you a minute to ask yourself about it. Why do we have to study all this? So, as we all know, we are living in a very complex world. There are a lot of things that we haven't discovered yet. But for me, as an engineering student, I believe that understanding these concepts would bring more towards complex environmental issues. It bridges ways for opportunity and makes me better as an individual who pursues sustainable development and industrialization in the future. How about you? All right. So I guess that's a question that you can answer yourself. I hope you learned something today, and I hope that you also look forward to understanding science more. Again, this has been John. Have a great day, everyone.